Welcome to ESPN College Football Prime Time, and it is presented by Geico. We're in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, and it's senior night. And we've got a Big 12 matchup between some cats. The Kansas State Wildcats take on the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Folks, I'm going to tell you, the Big 12 is the deepest, most competitive conference in the country. Take a look at this. We got a three-way tie at the top. It could be a four-way tie by night's end. And Kansas State, if they went out, could still find themselves with a chance in the conference championship game by next weekend. And with that, we say hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custer, as always, with my partner, Rod Gilmore. Got Lauren Sisler with us on the sideline. Listen, partner, we got two programs who desperately need a win tonight. Kansas State has dropped two straight. They haven't done that in 3 years. But you know what? If chaos continues in this conference, they could find themselves in the conference championship game. But more importantly, they want to make sure their seniors go out the right way. And that means their quarterbacks don't have to play mistake-free football.
Yeah, these Wildcats are wounded. And first, it's their pride. I mean, just a few weeks ago, they had a clear path to the Big 12 championship game and then had those two losses that you talked about. So their focus tonight becomes sending the seniors out with a win. But the other big issue is they are physically wounded, and the baddest Wildcat of them all is hurting. And that is Avery Johnson, the quarterback. When he is right, he is dynamic. And he was right and healthy the first 6 games of the season. And he just lit up the season with his running ability and his ability to throw the ball, a dual-threat guy. But the last few weeks, he's been suffering from that abdominal core hip injury, and that means that the Kansas State rushing attack has not been the same. The passing attack has not been the same. So the big question tonight is he healthy? If he's healthy, you'll see numbers that look more like the first 6 games and not like the last 4.
Well, as for Cincinnati, they've lost 3 straight, and if they're going to be bowl eligible, they've got to win, and they're going to rely on one of the best backs in the conference, and that's Corey Kiner.
You know, because of everyone else in this conference that's doing a great job running the ball, he gets overlooked. And Corey Kiner is a really good running back, and he's going to have to put on a show tonight if Cincinnati is going to become bowl eligible. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, but it's what he does between the tackles that's going to make a big difference for them.
It's only the 7th meeting between these two programs, the first as members of the Big 12. It's the Wildcats, the Bearcats, the kick when we come back. This is the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Kansas State won the toss. They've opted to defer, but let's go down to the field and say hello and welcome back to Lauren Sisler.
Hey guys, it's great to be back. And you know, the Kansas State football program facing a lot of adversity, feeling the weight of that on their shoulders. Coach Kleiman dealing with some personal issues at home. You got 2 losses sandwiched between a bye week, an unhealthy quarterback, lots of noise from the fan base, booing in the stadium last week. It's been emotional. Coach Kleiman showing that in his press conference, almost in tears, saying he feels like he let his team down. But talking to the players, guys, everyone in that locker room taking responsibility. No finger pointing. They just want to come out here, put together 4 quarters and win for the seniors who committed themselves to coming back for a final season to make a name for this program.
Came here 6 years ago. He says he wants those seniors who came in 6 years ago to go out with a victory. And Coach Kleiman, of course, said it's been a tough month for him personally, but things are a little better. Let's see if things get better for the Bearcats. They've lost 3 straight, but they will go on offense, and that means we'll get our first look at their quarterback, and Brendan Sorsby, redshirt sophomore, transfer from Indiana. He's the only Big 12 QB, one of 3 FBS players with 2,000 passing yards and 15 passing TDs, 8 of those rushing. And they give it to Kiner. And he is met by Austin Romaine. He's the leading tackler for Kansas State.
Well, you know, because since he has to find a passing attack, it's been missing the last few weeks. They only threw for 66 yards last week. And most of the offense came on the legs of Sorsby and Kiner. Sorsby ran for 141 last week. So this team has got to find a way to get the ball down the field and not just rely against this rushing defense.
They definitely said they want to get it to their playmakers, Xavier Henderson and Royer, the tight end. That one, crossing route, and that is complete to Jamoy Mays.
Yeah, this is an offense that has struggled to figure out how it can attack defenses throwing the ball. They had no success against Iowa State last week. This week they're facing a defense that plays 3 safeties, a 3-high safety look. They drop 8 a lot. How will they attack it?
You're looking at 3rd down and 7. Incomplete.
Wow.
Xavier Henderson and Jacob Parrish, who is the best cover guy for Kansas State, was over all on him like a blanket.
Yeah, how about a 3rd and 8 in Kansas State, switching it up, not dropping 8, not dropping 7, instead bringing pressure and playing man coverage, and Parrish ate up the route that Henderson ran. And Henderson is their top receiver, and Parrish just won that battle. We'll watch that matchup all night long.
Mason Fletcher will kick things away for Cincinnati. 6'7" out of Australia. Sterling Lockett.
6'7" punter?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Here's Lockett. That one went off the side of his foot and out of bounds. Looks like around the 35-yard line. So here comes the Wildcats offense and the sophomore Avery Johnson. Only quarterback in this conference with 2,000 passing yards, 400 yards rushing. He's also 1 passing TD shy of tying the K-State sophomore record. They said this is the healthiest he has been in the past 4 weeks. And he's going to keep it and run. And this is what they want to see here in Manhattan.
Oh, man. Yeah, he took a shot on the sideline there, a little bit out of bounds. No flag thrown. If you've watched Kansas State football over the years, you know that their offense, when it's good, is based on a running quarterback. I'm talking about Michael Bishop, L. Roberson, Colin Klein. That's the history here. And this young man is the fastest of all of them. That hit was a little bit late, in my opinion.
33-yard pickup. Here's DJ Giddens. Giddens over that right side.
If you want to know Avery Johnson's superpower, it's his speed. I mean, he's athletic, but his speed is elite. We're talking 4.3 40. You want to do it in miles per hour? He's up 22+ miles per hour. 100 yards, 10.400 meters. He can fly, but he hasn't been able to run the last 3 or 4 weeks. Looked good on that opening one.
Call it 2nd and 6. Johnson again, flag thrown. He gets to the edge. He's got a first down and more. As he darts out of bounds at the 10, but let's check the flag. Luke Richmond is our official.
Illegal formation, offense. More than 4 players lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, you talked about being injured, and that's where he took it against Colorado.
Yeah.
And ever since that game, Rod, has not been healthy, but they believe this is probably the healthiest he has been in at least 5 weeks.
It affected his running and his throwing, and the offense has been off because of that.
2nd and 11 with the penalty. Johnson through the air. Johnson over the middle and out of the hands of Chase Brown.
Well, you can see because they're not wasting any time getting him involved and testing him and finding out how healthy he is. He's run it a couple times. He's got a shot at a ball down the middle here, gives it enough air. I think it was just misplayed by Brown. Jace Brown there had a shot at it. He slowed up a little bit on it. Probably should have just run through it.
He's the team's leading receiver as well. So now 3rd and 11. From the Bearcat 33. Johnson. That's complete to Trey Spivey. And that should be enough for a first down for the Wildcats.
You can just see Avery Johnson moving with more confidence. You know, looking at the tape the first 6-7 games, he was a very confident runner. He threw with authority, but the last 3-4 weeks, he seemed tentative. Not tonight.
First and 10. From the 21. Johnson to keep it. Johnson inside the 10. Avery Johnson, touchdown, Kansas State. Another rushing touchdown for Avery Johnson. That'll be his 6th on the season.
Yeah, they run the quarterback counter, pulling the left tackle, Kilty, and also using Giddens, the running back, as a blocker. And Cincy was outnumbered on the right side of the offense. Never had a chance at stopping that.
Chris Tennant with the extra point. And the Wildcats take the opening drive, their first offensive possession, and go right down for 6. Thanks. Well, Kansas State, thanks to Avery Johnson, took their opening drive, went 65 yards, did it in just 2 minutes, 5 plays. 54 of those yards came from this man right there. That's how much he ran for. In fact, that 54 yards, most he's had in the first quarter in his career. They're up 7-0. The Bearcats will get another crack at the football. Let's take a look now at the impact players. They're brought to you by Carfax.
Yeah, we told you a little bit about some of the stars like Corey Kiner. He's going to have to get 97-plus yards tonight. That'll put him over 1,000 for the season. They need that. Dante Corleone, heart and soul of that defense. Giddens is carrying extra load tonight with his running mate Dylan Edwards out. And Brendan Mott, he is a sack master at defensive end for K-State.
Kiner gets the carry, spins off one guy, and then a group of cats bottle him up behind the line of scrimmage. You mentioned him, Brendan Mott, the first guy to hit him. He leads the conference in sacks per game.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive and I think violent defense. They really come after you. And they've got to be a little careful tonight, as you see 38 Mott there slanting inside, because this is an emotional night. And they played to the echo of the whistle. Could get some late hit calls.
Sorsby keeps it, throws, and that's incomplete down the sideline. He was looking at his tight end, Joe Royer.
You know, I told you earlier in the week, watching this defense, that, man, they go after it. I mean, if you are standing up near the pile with the football, you will get hit. I mean, they are aggressive. Love that style, but you have to be careful in an emotional game like this, in a 3rd down and long. Got to play to the whistle, not past it.
Mott is one of those 6-year seniors who came in when Coach Kleiman came here to Manhattan. 3rd and long for the Bearcats. Underneath, Kiner. Kiner with some blockers. He's got a first down and brought down at the 36-yard line.
The one
Colby
thing,
McAllister with the stop.
Yeah, we'll see more of that. I mean, the one thing that's been a problem for this defense, the screen game. Colorado, Arizona State both used it effectively, and they haven't quite solved it. We will see it. We'll see the wide receiver screen. We'll see more running back screens like this. It is the thing that's been the biggest issue the last couple of weeks for this defense.
13-yard pickup. Handoff, and it goes nowhere. Desmond Purnell was right there.
Yeah, this is an attacking defense, and you know, this is a defense with a little bit of a chip on its shoulder. We talked to a couple of players yesterday, and they said they're seeking redemption because last year's senior night against Iowa State, they got their hat handed to them. Iowa State put up 45 points, ran for 250, and they said, no, we're going to be more physical tonight like that last play.
Evan Pryor has come into the game. He got the carry, and he is bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. Travis Bates was the first guy to meet him.
Bates was first. Listen, this is a tough defense to run against. And if we heard it once yesterday, we heard it 10 times. We get a do-over. Last year was a terrible night for the seniors. They don't want to go out like that tonight. They want to make sure the 8 guys that have been here 5+ years and the other guys go out the right way. Look at what happened last year.
3rd and 16, again underneath. Tony Johnson. Johnson still on his feet, but tripped up. And that defense, again, with another stop, and the Bearcats will have to punt it away.
See all those purple shirts around the ball? They fly around. They are extremely motivated. And I gotta believe that the way that Avery Johnson started the game, that helps the defense. That they see that the offense might be back to where it was.
Again, Fletcher punting it away. Sterling Lockett standing at his own 25. Second offensive possession out here for the Wildcats. After they went 65 yards for a score on their first possession.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Get more with Geico.
7-0 our score. Kansas State over Cincinnati. Chris Kleiman came here to Manhattan 6 seasons ago, but he led the Wildcats to their first outright Big 12 title 2 years ago. In fact, that was their first outright title since 2003.
Yeah, and everybody wants to know, what have you done lately?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is now in the days.
Yeah, with the playoff this season, everyone's focus is on making the playoff and not a bowl game. Change.
To the outside, Dante Cephas. Pitch and catch.
If folks haven't been following the story season long, Avery Johnson replaced Will Howard. Will Howard, quarterback at Ohio State, had himself a day.
He did.
Today. And Avery Johnson, considered one of the greatest athletes in the history of the state of Kansas, was anointed the quarterback this year, and Howard moved on to Ohio State.
Here's Giddens. Gets yanked. Here's the flag, and that may be a face mask to see.
I think that sort of trade has worked out for both sides. Mm-hmm. Ohio State's happy with Will Howard. Will Howard is happy.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Cameron Wilson got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Will Howard understood it was Avery Johnson's time here, and Avery Johnson is certainly going to be a tremendous player in this Big 12, and there is no doubt about that. Face mask.
So with that 15-yard penalty, you're going to say 1st and 10 Kansas State, now in Bearcat territory.
Now the challenge for Cincy on defense is, how do you stop the quarterback run game? That is the big threat. And the problem is, it's not just one play. They run a lot of different quarterback run plays, and Cincy has to figure out how to handle it.
Here's Giddens. Gets to the outside. Cuts back and brought down inside the 30, Antoine Peak.
They come right back with the counter, and the left tackle again, Kilty, leads the way. And Giddens does a nice job of just sliding to the outside. Watch the counter. They pull the left guard, left tackle, and what great vision by Giddens to see it to the outside and to just jump step. Just kind of jump cut out there.
Second straight year. He's had over 1,000 yards, and he's a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award as well. Johnson. Plenty of time, throws, that's complete. Dante Cephas.
You know, both these teams play a similar style defense. 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, 3 safeties, kind of the new wave defense that has sort of taken the country by storm to address the run-pass option and the passing attack. But it can be vulnerable to the run. And Cincy's going to have to load up the box a little bit more to stop the run game.
Giddens inside the 20. And once again, the Wildcats are in the red zone. They've got a first down, and they are the best team in the conference when it comes to scoring in the red zone. They do it at about a 90% clip.
Yeah, it's about touchdowns, though. I mean, if you can get touchdowns at a clip of 70% or more, you are top 10, top 15 in the country, because you don't want to just kick field goals to score, and they are good at getting into the end zone down here, but 70% or more is what you want with touchdowns.
So far, Kansas State has run the football for 80 yards, and maybe make that maybe 81. Giddens gets wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. With Cincinnati, -7 yards rushing right now.
The one thing that is a problem down here defensively, you have to find tight ends down inside the red zone down here. It's easy to lose them, and if you're playing a complicated defense, your guys can get confused and the tight end can run free.
Let's see what Garrett Oakley's another guy they love to target. They get in that red zone. They give it to Johnson, though. He's going to keep it. Quarterback run, and he's brought down inside the 10. Maybe about a yard shy of the line to gain for a first down.
I think we can say this is the healthiest Avery Johnson has been in weeks. He is carrying the football an awful lot. He's running with confidence. 3rd and short here.
Inside 5 minutes left in the quarter. Johnson to keep it.
Oh,
and
my.
He's brought down at the 10. Good play.
Oh, my.
What a play by Jonathan Thompson.
What a great play by Thompson.
He's the redshirt sophomore out of Columbus, Ohio.
I thought Avery Johnson was going to scoot to the outside, and he had a chance to get into the end zone had he done that. But Thompson took his blocker and drove him right back into Johnson. This is as good a play as you'll see. Take him, beat him inside, and then just took away the outside from Avery Johnson.
Chris Tennant has come on. This will be from 28 yards out, this field goal attempt. Snap's good, hold is, and the kick is good as well. They don't come away with a touchdown, but they get points. Kansas State 10, Cincinnati nothing here in the first quarter. Rock has been the story so far here in the first quarter. Cincinnati has run the football 4 times for -7 yards. Conversely, Kansas State has run it 9 times for 86 yards.
Listen, this is a hard defense to run the ball against at Kansas State. Teams have thrown it against the Wildcats very well. Jordan Tyson cleaned them out last week for Arizona State. And he had a big game, 176 yards receiving.
Let's go to the studio and get an update, my man, Kevin Connors.
All right, because AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship. Unbeaten Army is on the ropes at Yankee Stadium right now. Jeremiah Love for a touchdown.
Notre Dame has been fantastic running against this good Army rush defense.
21-7, but the Irish are inside the 5 on 3rd.
Thanks, Kev. Brian Custer, Rod Gilmore, Lauren Sisler with you here in Manhattan, Kansas. 3rd offensive possession here for Cincinnati. What do you need to see out of them, Rod?
Throw it in.
They throw it, and it's complete. That's Xavier Henderson, their alpha receiver, the main man they want to get the football to, and that pitch and catch is good for 21.
Yeah, teams have thrown the ball well against this defense. And when you get a guy like Xavier Henderson, 6'3", 200, that deep over route gets him matched against a safety, and that is a mismatch. You want to get him in the slot and get him on a safety if you can. And you got to protect your quarterback.
Yeah, he stood in there, took that hit, but delivered it to Henderson. Sorsby has it, keeps it. He's across midfield. He's in Wildcat territory, and for the first time, the Bearcats now knocking on the door here offensively.
And they have turned to the quarterback run game a lot the last couple of weeks. You know, they only threw the ball 18 times last week, only 66 yards passing against Iowa State. They're going to have to throw it a lot more tonight against this team. You are not going to line up and just run against this Wildcat defense.
Evan Pryor gets the call. Pryor is the transfer from Ohio State and probably their most explosive guy on the offensive side. And they certainly want to get him a lot more touches. He's about a yard shy of a first down.
Yeah, and Pryor is the guy, you know, who can get you the 20-plus yard big play. Something that's been missing from this offense.
3rd and 1 for Cincinnati. 2 tight ends. Kiner back in the backfield from the pistol. Sorsby over the top to Jamoy Mays, incomplete.
He had him. Little play action. Mays, the wide receiver who was lined up inside, give it a little bit more air, and you might have a home run there. He's lined up in tight formation, fakes the block, and he's wide open right now. Needed a little bit more air. And
They'll
now,
go for it on fourth.
Absolutely. This has got to be quarterback run.
And he is hit right at the line of gain. It depends on the spot here.
Yeah, he ran into Cody Stufflebean and also Austin Moore.
Officials
Depends
timeout
on that spot.
for a measurement.
And
If you look at it, it looks maybe a half a yard shy.
maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, Sorsby is sort of their big running back. I mean, he's the guy that's 230 pounds that on short yardage situations, you're probably going to see him get the ball because everybody else is 200 pounds or lighter. I have no problem with their decision to go for it here.
How about Kansas State's defense coming up with one of the biggest plays here so far?
Well, that defense was thinking the same thing we were thinking. Short yardage up here, quarterback's going to get that ball. Question is it going to be inside or outside? Quarterback just speed option. And look who's sitting there. Austin Moore, a young man who we talked to yesterday, has played a lot of football here, has waited a long time to become one of the leaders on this team. Former walk-on.
Another one of those 6-year guys. And as you talked about redemption, he said, hey, look, I could have been a senior and walked away last year, but we lost that game to Iowa State. I had to come back. Johnson handing it off to Giddens. Pick up a 5 for DJ.
You know, we talked about head coach Chris Kleiman, and it's been a tough couple of weeks. He had to deal with questions earlier in the week about whether he was going to retire. And when he got a chance to address it, he said, where'd that come from? No plans. People just thought he was so upset and so emotional after the last couple of games that maybe he was thinking about stepping down. That is not the case. He was very emphatic about that.
Giddens again over that right side. First down and a whole lot more by DJ Giddens. That's a 20-yard pickup for him.
Yeah, you know, Kansas State has found something. They are running the counter. They're bringing a couple of extra blockers around. And Cincy is short man. They don't have enough numbers to handle the blockers. And they've run that, I think, 4 times. And each time, they've had good yardage out of it. Cincinnati has got to adjust and deal with it.
Wildcats, the second best rushing team in the Big 12. Johnson, play fake, throws, that's complete. That's DJ out of the backfield.
Everything. everything is working for Avery Johnson. Superpowers. I mean, when he gets back to running at full speed, he feels good about himself. Magically, the touch on his passes become better. Everything is better for him.
We play one quarter here in the Little Apple. Kansas State on top of Cincinnati, 10-0. Beginning of the second quarter, let's recap the Wildcats season. You know, they were 18th in the AP preseason poll. Really the preseason pick to win this conference. They started the season undefeated, 3-0. And then they lost in week 4 to BYU, but went undefeated in their next 4 games. But it's those back-to-back losses, though. The surprising one was Houston. And then Arizona State, who've caught fire lately in the Big 12.
Well, those were both upsets, and that's what disappointed fans here.
Here's Johnson. He'll keep it. And runs out of bounds. Jaquan Saints, the guy who forced him out.
That is the first time since he has handled any part of the quarterback run game. He did a good job of getting penetration and forcing Johnson wide. Now, here on second down, you start thinking, okay, how do they handle things? Because with the quarterback run game coming back, look how much better they are when the quarterback run game is effective. First 5 games, they're 100 yards better. Tonight, they've got the quarterback run game back, and they're already over 100 yards rushing.
There's Giddens over that left side. Thompson makes the stop for the Bearcats.
Big situation for the Cincy defense. They need to hold K-State to a field goal here. And in this third down situation, if I'm in that defensive huddle, I'm saying, guys, find the tight ends. And do not blow the tight end assignment. Find out where the tight end is because they like it down here. You got one in the slot, lower right side.
3rd and 12 from the 15. Avery slides, throws, almost intercepted by, that's Derek Canteen who got the tip.
Yeah, Canteen did a nice job. Johnson stared that way the entire time. Canteen does a good job of flying out, sees it, gets there a little early, but contact is not pass interference. You have to disrupt the receiver, impede the receiver. Just because he got that right hand wrapped around the backside, that is not pass interference.
So another field goal attempt. This will be from 32 yards out from Chris Tennant. He was good from 28. And he's still good. So a win for the Cincinnati defense as they hold the Wildcats to just 3. Hey, this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund, and we say thank you to All-State.
Listen, how crazy is the Big 12 race right now? It's drunk. It's just nuts. And a couple weeks ago, we were like, hey, you know, Kansas State's going to be in there. And then it was, hey, man, Colorado's got a clear path.
Yep.
And now it's Iowa State, Arizona State. Who knows?
BYU had always been sailing until
exactly.
late, these couple of losses they've taken.
I'm very curious to see what Casey and Trevor Maddich have to say at halftime about this race, because I think this is bad news for the Big 12. I think there's no way they get more than one team in the playoff now when you have someone win the conference with 2 or 3 losses. I think it's going to be hard to get a second team anywhere high enough in the rankings to be in contention.
3-way tie right now. And if Iowa State gets a victory, it could be a 4-way tie by night's end. And
it also means that someone like Boise State is likely to get that top 4 seed over a Big 12 champion.
Here comes Brendan Sorsby. This Cincinnati offense so far, Sorsby 4 of 7 for just 39 yards passing. And the Cincinnati offense, they've had 3 offensive possessions. A punt, and they gave it up on downs. Coach Satterfield, who's in his 2nd season here in Cincinnati.
Wants to get to a bowl game badly. They did not make one last season in his first year.
Sorsby again throwing, and that was to Royer. It's incomplete.
And one of the things that's really critically important for this offense, they have to get Sorsby settled and comfortable. You know, the coaches mentioned to us this week, you know, he gets a little hyper at times, and they haven't had great success throwing the ball, so they need to get him settled. What does he like? Run what he likes. If he wants to run the ball, run the ball. If he likes a tight end over the middle, give him the tight end over the middle. If he likes the out route, give him the out route. But it's important to get him confident.
Plenty of time, and that one's a strike, and it's a first down to the X-Man, Xavier Henderson.
He has a strong arm. He is a first-year quarterback. Played a lot of quarterback in Texas high school football in Denton. You know that place well.
Oh, absolutely.
And they take their football seriously in high school, and he was a stud.
Denton Ryan, a powerhouse there in Texas.
He is a good-looking prospect. When he is settled and his mechanics are good, he can throw that football.
First down. Sorsby again, plenty of time, swings it out to Tony Johnson. Tony Johnson down the sideline, and he's in Wildcat territory and forced out of bounds at the 47.
I love that for Sorsby. He didn't force the ball down the field. Young quarterbacks do that a lot. Instead, he said, you know what? I got my guy, TJ, over there. Let him go to work. And he just let him do his thing and make a guy miss. Didn't force the ball. That is a mature effort by the quarterback.
17-yard pickup, just the fourth first down here for the Cincinnati offense. Sorsby under pressure. Again to the outside, this time to Jamoy Mays. He swung out of bounds at the 33. There's the flag down.
And that was a receiver downfield, offense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, the thing about this offense, it's a little bit more pro style in the passing game than most offenses we see. Most of them throw the ball short an awful lot. Sorsby only throws the ball less than 10 yards, about 45, 47% of the time. By contrast, Kansas State, their 70% of their balls do not go beyond 10 yards. So the challenge for him is to complete the throws out a little bit deeper for this offense.
I think we're going to get a timeout from Cincinnati.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout, Cincinnati. Be a 30-second timeout.
Coach Satterfield wants to talk it over with his O. They're down 13-0 here in the second quarter. Hey, next Saturday's SEC on ABC. You got college football rivalry weekend matchups. You got Tennessee and Vandy at noon. Then you got Alabama and Auburn, and we'll cap the night. Texas and Texas A&M. That's your lineup on ABC and ESPN+. First and 15. Sorsby. That's a strike. Or incomplete. Moyes had it. Jamoy and Mays had it.
Right now, Kansas State defensively is doing a good job of dictating where Sorsby can throw the ball. He hasn't been able to go to his first two targets, and so he's coming back off to find Johnson. The defense has rotated to double Henderson and the tight end Royer. So Johnson's getting more of the attention from Sorsby.
He'll swing it out to Kiner. Cross midfield. He's back at the original line of scrimmage. Austin Romaine with the stop. Third down coming here for Cincy.
Yeah, and this is cross midfield. This is where Satterfield said, yeah, I start thinking about 4-down territory when I cross midfield.
1 for 4 on 3rd down tonight. Wildcats show pressure back out. That's Tony Johnson, and Tony Johnson has got enough for a 1st down for the Bearcats.
Yeah, mistake by Kansas State. They were outnumbered by receivers to tacklers. Sorsby saw it right away, raised up and threw the ball out there. Simple. It's a free, easy throw. Can't go broke taking a profit, right? You're going to play 2 defensive backs against 3 receivers? We'll take that.
Bearcats will go with a little tempo here to change things up. Kiner, nice cut to the inside. Austin Moore makes the stop.
Yeah, the question is, can Cincy get the matchups they want in the passing attack? Can they get Henderson on a safety or getting matched up against the corner, Keenan Garber?
Sorsby throwing too high to Mays.
Getting the protection he needs. A little hot with that throw. And the one thing you can expect if you're Cincy, Kansas State loves to heat you up in this situation. The question is, will they bring 5, 6, or will it be a zone blitz? But they like to heat you up.
2 of 5 on 3rd down. Sorsby dropped. Obiizor, Chidi Obiizor, he's the redshirt freshman. They love him. He makes the stop.
Brendan Mott, though, the left defensive end, made the play. That was only a 3-man rush. And Mott beat the right tackle. He's at the top of the screen, and he makes this play happen. He just says, now you see me, now you don't. And this ruins everything for this offense. Now it's a 4th down and about 9, 8+. This is a tough situation.
From the Wildcats 33. Sorsby looks right, throws incomplete. Threw it between both of his receivers.
Yeah, this is really well done by the Kansas State defense. I mean, the targets are all going to Mays. He's been targeted 5 times already. And their top 2 receivers have only a couple targets. They are doubling the main guys, and this is leaving them with not what they wanted. K-State in charge.
Well, let's take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. All season long, got student sections across the country competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. You can download the Taco Bell app and get more information. There's DJ Giddens. Hit and knocked back. No gain.
It's a big, big series here for this defense. They're playing a lot of their backup defensive linemen right now to give the first stringers a blow. And they've got to hold up here. They've got to hold the rope right here at 13-0 and get the ball back for the offense.
Johnson to keep it. Roll, throw on the run. And sliding is Jace Brown with that catch.
You see the superpower, right? I mean, when he can move and run like he normally does, he throws the ball well on the move. He could not do this last week, 2 weeks ago. But when he's feeling himself and he's able to run, he can throw it on the move. He can take off in the quarterback run game. He's dynamic that way.
15-yard pickup for Kansas State. First catch for Jace Brown. Flea flicker. Johnson swings it out to Giddens. Giddens down the sideline. And forced out of bounds around the 30, Anton Peak Jr.
Smart decision by Avery Johnson. He took a peek down the field and saw that the real trickeration wasn't there. And instead of forcing it, he gave it to his buddy, gave it to Giddens and let him run free. One peek, it ain't there, come back off. Well done.
Johnson now 6 of 8 for 78 yards passing. Here's Giddens. Spinning. Go DJ. Oh, that's my DJ. That's a touchdown, Kansas State. Sixth rushing touchdown of the season for DJ Giddens.
We talk about the really good, the great running backs doing something on their own, making guys miss, not just getting what's blocked. That DJ was dancing out there.
Yes, he was. Extra point is good.
I mean, when your line gives you something, now you got to give your line something. You know what? I'm going to make a couple guys miss. I'm going to show you my sweet feet and finish the run. There's a DJ in the house.
DJ Giddens with the touchdown run that put Kansas State up big.
Because it's the counter again, and it should have been a 3-yard gain, right? But the special backs give you something else. And we saw Giddens give us a shake, a spin, and speed to make 3 guys go, what happened?
Kansas State, both of their touchdowns tonight, they've done it in 2 minutes, their drives. First one, 2:08, and this one in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Let's get a studio update. Here's Kevin Connors.
Because the Chick-fil-A move on the field, Oklahoma has taken the lead on Alabama behind Xavier Robinson.
And this is great by the Oklahoma offense, but what strikes me here is the Oklahoma defense is shutting down Alabama.
They have just 97 yards. It's at the half, 10-3 Sooners.
Early, but how about that?
Yeah.
Rod Gilmore, Lawrence Sisler, I'm Brian Custer here in Manhattan, Kansas. And there's Corey Kiner. And Corey Kiner takes off. Biggest gain of the night for the Bearcats as V.J. Payne forced him out of bounds, but Kiner, 26-yard run.
Yeah, he felt that and had the great vision, little inside zone with the tight end coming across to block the backside, and he bent that back, cut it back inside the tackle to the outside. Nobody was there. Really nicely done.
Sorsby, complete, and what a lick, V.J. Payne.
Remember what I told you?
Put on Tony Johnson.
This defense is aggressive and violent, and V.J. Payne brought the pain. That's a big-time hit. And he is a safety who hangs around the box. He looks for the run game. All of these defensive backs, first and foremost, are focused on the run game and the short passes. So if you're going to attack them, you need double moves, you need play action.
Kiner, again, another cutback by Kiner. Another big gain by Kiner. He puts his shoulder down and still running. Corey Kiner. What a run. That one for 24 yards.
He says, you guys forgot about me. He looked across the way and saw Giddens do his thing, and he says, I am, too, one of the top running backs in the Big 12, and I can make guys miss. I will get you something beyond what the line blocks for. Again, that stretch play, his vision, he cuts back. He makes guys miss. He runs through tackles.
Kiner came into the night 97 yards and becoming the first Cincy player with 1,000-yard rushing in back-to-back seasons. He's got 50 now. Here's Sorsby throwing and overshoots Evan Pryor. He had him on the wheel route.
Oh, he walked away as soon as he released it. Sorsby walked away. He knew he put too much on it. He had Pryor out there. He just needed to give it some air and let Pryor run under it into the end zone. He just threw it too hard. Too excited, too emotional. I got him, too much.
Second down. Pryor still in the backfield. Receiver screen to the outside. Johnson. Third down coming.
Can they answer? And right now, they have to find a way to get their stars involved. So far, Kansas State has been able to roll their coverage and take the stars. Henderson, the wide receiver. Royer, the tight end. They've been able to limit Sorsby's ability to find them. They got to move them around and get them free.
Sorsby throwing. He was looking at Royer, but he got tied up, and that's incomplete. And another decision here for Coach Satterfield.
I don't think there's much of a choice. I think you got to kick this. You got to get on the board. You're 4th and almost 10.
Nathan Hawks will come in. He's the transfer from Division III Wittenberg. This will be from 42 yards out. He has a career long of 55. And that's good, and the Bearcats are on the board. You know, the interesting thing is we had a long talk with Corey Kiner, Evan Prater, two of the leaders here on Cincinnati, not really considered vocal guys.
Right.
And they said, listen, they had a team meeting, players only, and told them enough's enough. We've lost 3 straight. It's time to win now.
Time to focus. You know, sometimes those things can be really helpful, but sometimes it's too much talking, and it's a sign that there's a fragmented locker room if you can't get guys on the same page.
To the field. Here's Lauren with more on that.
Yeah, and you know, Kiner being the guy, he doesn't usually get loud, but he got loud. People could see the frustration on his face. He said they knew what he meant, want to do this for the city, want to get winning back to Cincinnati. So he spoke up. He said, we got to cut this out, plain and simple. We have to win. All the other things can be dealt with in the offseason. You got a lot of alpha males in this room. You have a lot of pride. It's time to drop it at the door, put those distractions away, and focus on one common goal, guys, and that's get a bowl game and close out the season with a win.
Well, he's doing his part, Shimmy. I don't think it's on him, but I don't think the message has gotten through. I mean, his comment about putting aside your own personal goals or whatnot, maybe that hasn't really been received that well, because right now, I mean, this team they haven't come together tonight. I mean, that much is clear. And slow start, and he has done everything he can. He's running as hard as he can, breaking tackles, but they need their stars to make plays, and that hasn't happened.
Kiner needs just 47 more yards for 1,000 on the season. K-State so far on their drives tonight, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Here's Joe Jackson. Over that right side, picks up about 3.
Yeah, the one play that this defense has struggled with all night long is the counter, where they pull the left guard or the left tackle and another player with them. They've run it for the quarterback, they've run it for the running back, and it has been a huge play for this offense all night, and Cincy has not handled it.
Bunch said at the top of your screen, but it's a design quarterback run for Johnson. And a flag comes flying in at the end of that run.
I think one of the things that's a problem for this defense is defensive tackle Dante Corleone has been in and out of the lineup tonight. And, you know, he was out of the game the last half of the game last week against Iowa State.
Holding, offense, number 54, 10-yard penalty, second down.
And when Corleone is in the middle of that defense and he's healthy, it is tough to move the football. But with him out of there, it's a lot easier for K-State to run. And you see the left guard, number 54, Panzer.
Panzer, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tackle takedown on Bartlett.
Corleone's the team captain, best player on this defense. Johnson, that's complete. Dante Cephas again.
When Corleone is in there, he commands a double team. You have to double him. He is powerful, 6'1", 320, has quickness, can really be disruptive inside, so you have to double him. When he's not in there, now you get single blocks on the nose guard, and you get the other left and right guard getting on your linebacker so that you can run the football.
I love that they call him the Godfather.
I love it.
3rd and long. Johnson to keep it. Hit from behind by Eric Phillips. And that's good enough for a first down.
I don't feel like this defense has really hit Johnson much or very hard. I mean, is that your sense?
Yeah, you know, that was one of the things defensively they said we got to do. We got to affect that quarterback and hit him.
Especially if he runs it a lot, but I don't get the sense that they've been physical with him.
Johnson through the air. He's got him in, and that's complete. Trey Spivey.
This is the most comfortable Johnson has looked in 5-6 weeks since the Colorado game. Whether he is in the pocket, whether he is moving, or whether he's running with the football. You see why they were excited to make him the face of the program for the next couple of years.
Coming on the 2-minute timeout. Here's Jackson. Breaks a tackle, flag. Down the sideline, breaks another tackle. Knocked out of bounds at the 15.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on the center, Sam Hecht. You know, when Johnson was in high school, he grew up a huge Oregon Duck fan and got lots of attention. Everyone assumed that he was going to be heading to the Ducks, so it was a real coup for K-State to keep him at home.
This is the 2-minute
timeout. Holding on the Wildcats, but they're driving. They're up right now 20-3 on Cincinnati.
In studio, coming up on the Twisted Tea halftime report, we're going to run through a turbulent day at the top of the Big 12 and let you know who's in the driver's seat as of right now. Plus, no luck at the shoe for Indiana. Trevor Maddich going to weigh in on the Hoosiers' playoff chances. And year one of the ACC, pretty darn good for SMU, Brian. We'll talk about that at the half.
Looking forward to that. We'll be in SMU next week. Here's Joe Jackson.
Hey, not to mess with the guys in the studio, but what if Kansas State had not lost to Houston?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Kansas State fans are thinking.
Absolutely.
The opportunity.
Yeah.
They'd be in the thick of this thing.
Absolutely. Take a look at these standings.
Yeah. The upset loss to Houston right before the bye week changed everything for the Wildcats.
Minute 20. Keep in mind, Kansas State will get the football to begin the second half.
Could he get more time?
And Johnson will just throw that one away. Third down coming here for Kansas State.
Not exactly any sense of urgency right here. I think Kansas State seems content to, if they don't pick this up, to let the clock continue to run. If you're Cincy, I think you'd like to have one more shot at it. You got a couple timeouts.
The Wildcats have converted 2 of 4 on third down so far tonight. Empty set. Johnson throwing incomplete. He's looking at Trey Spivey.
And they dropped 8 into coverage and still managed to get good pressure. So good defense by the Bearcats. You know, you got a little bit over a minute left. You got a couple timeouts. You got a chance to do something with a 1-minute drill. But a really good job of putting pressure on Avery Johnson outside the pocket.
Simon McClannon will be punting things away. Jamoy Mays standing inside his own 10. Calls for the fair catch. Made there at the 17. Hey, make sure you kick off your Week 12 NFL Sunday tomorrow with that countdown crew. You got Shefty, he's going to go all access with the Harbaugh brothers, and special guest Guy Fieri. We'll break down the pregame meal, of course, that fuels the NFL. All the injury updates, breaking news, Sunday NFL countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on the ESPN and the app.
How cool is that for the Harbaugh brothers?
Some.
You know, I mean, I've known those guys since, you know, Jim was in high school. And, yeah, they were going at each other back then. And they're still doing it.
Still doing it.
As head coaches. That's really cool.
Sorsby steps up in the pocket, throws. Mays caught at the 30. And brought down at the 34.
Pass complete to number 10.
Under a minute, clock's ticking. Bearcats have got 2 timeouts. Pressure coming. Sorsby throws to the outside, incomplete. Again, Mays had it, dropped it.
Yeah, again, all the targets are going to Mays. 7 targets so far in this game, 2 receptions. They really haven't been able to get the ball to Henderson or to Royer. Royer does not have a catch. Their outstanding tight end.
Here's Kiner. Maybe a yard. Timeout called by Cincinnati.
I think when Cincy goes into the locker room,
Cincinnati.
there are a couple things that you put up on the board. For the defense, they put up the counter play and how they're going to get penetration and stop the counter, where they're pulling 2 linemen, and it's been a problem for their defense all night long. And then offensively, how do they move Henderson, number 8, to get him on safeties and to get a matchup where they can get the ball to him? Because right now, Kansas State has taken that option away from them. And if Henderson doesn't catch any passes, their passing game is going to be no better than it was last week. And last week, they only had 66 yards passing.
Well, they're looking at a 3rd and 8 from their own 36.
And they can use the entire middle of the field. They do not have to worry about stopping the clock going out of bounds. They have a timeout.
K-State will rush just 3. Flag. And Sorsby throws. It's complete. Sterling Burkhalter, but we got a flag on the play.
Yeah, back in the holding area.
Luke Richmond, our referee.
Holding. Offense. Number 56. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, it's not easy to block Brendan Mott, the defensive end who has, 8 sacks coming into the game. He's at the right side of the screen. Shows you his power. And look at that. As soon as he's about to get free, just wrap him up. Good call.
Mott is, again, former walk-on, earned a scholarship in just his 4th season. There's a pick by Mott! And brought down inside the 10. Oh, what a senior night for him.
Are you kidding me? He was one of the guys we talked to yesterday. He said, I want my redemption. He could have walked as a senior last year. It was an awful game against Iowa State. 45 points, almost 260 yards allowed rushing, and he said, that is not K-State. And he wanted to come back and get redemption tonight, got a do-over. That young man, as you said, waited 4 years to get a scholarship, was on the scout team doing the other team's defense, not even practicing his own defense for 3+ years. Wow.
Puts his offense inside the 10, 18 seconds, and they got 3 timeouts.
Yep, do whatever you want.
Johnson throwing incomplete. That's batted.
I mean, I'm not sure we're going to see any guys in the near future spend 4 years at a place on the scout team without a scholarship, without looking for somewhere else to go. This is his 6th season. Look at that.
This is him early in his career, and he said like he had to put on weight, put on muscle. They were asking him. He came in at like
Please reset the game clock to 15 seconds.
He's got guns now.
Oh yeah, big boy now.
He's got a gun show.
He's a big boy now. Coming in about 240. Here's 2nd and goal. Johnson, flush, throwing to the end zone. He's got a man, touchdown, Trey Spivey. First touchdown of his career for the redshirt freshman.
When your quarterback has regained his superpower, he can do it. He extended the play. He bought time. He had all the confidence in the world, and he waited for Spivey to come free, and Spivey stepped up last week to step in for an injured receiver, and Spivey gets rewarded with a touchdown shot here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, you hit it. He had a career-high 4 catches last week against Arizona State. But this is a kid, they love his growth, the confidence he's been playing with. And, you know, look, playing sports is in the blood. His dad, of course, is Junior Spivey, major leaguer in baseball.
And Spivey, you know, if your quarterback's in trouble, stay alive. Stay alive. Roll to your quarterback's side. And he does a nice little dipsy-do and gets away from coverage. Knows that Johnson is heading that way. What a nice job for a redshirt freshman, 6'4", 217 pounds from Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. It's a good program out there.
Wildcats now up 24, their biggest halftime lead here of the season for them thus far. You can see Coach Satterfield's record is when he's trailing at the half, Coach Kleiman, his record with a lead going into the half. In fact, this is the biggest deficit the Bearcats have seen at the half since 2019.
This is year 2 of the rebuild for Cincy, and this is not what they expected or hoped tonight. They thought they would show up big time, and it hasn't happened, and it's going to make a lot of folks think about, well, what's next? What is next for this program? You're heading into the transfer portal in early December, and Satterfield told us himself, he said, I'm not sure what's going to happen because this is all new, and he has no idea which players might be sticking around, which players might be coming back. He knows that they're going to be active in the portal. But you no longer, as a head coach, have 4 years, 5 years to figure out how to make this work and how to win.
First half of senior night couldn't go any better for Kansas State. They are up 27-3 on Cincinnati. To Kevin Connors, Trevor Maddich, it's the Twisted Tea. Here's Giddens. Spinning. Go DJ. Oh, that's my DJ. That's a touchdown, Kansas State. Welcome back, ESPN College Football Prime Time. It is presented by Geico. You know, DJ Giddens averaging 6.9 yards per scrimmage, 5th in the nation. Tonight, averaging 11.5 yards per scrimmage. Brian Custer alongside Rod Gilmore. We got Lauren Sisler with us as well as we begin the second half. How about Kansas State? Up big here in begin to second half. And, you know, Avery Johnson, you talked about finding his superpower. He did it all, throwing the football, running the football as well.
Entirely different team when he is himself. He's been banged up the last few weeks. Tonight, healthiest we've seen him in probably 6 weeks. And it was passing, it was running, it was the confident way that he went after. 62 yards rushing in the first half, and they went right to him right to start the game. 9 of 14 passing, and that inspired the entire offense and the defense.
Here's the freshman, Bryce Norenberg. Dropped it, picked it back up, brings it out to about the 25. You know, you talk about Avery Johnson, 111 yards he threw for in the air, a touchdown pass as well, and 62 yards running the football. Remember, he did 54 of those on the opening drive.
Yeah, he's just dynamic when he is healthy. He's got elite speed. He's very athletic, and his confidence grows in the passing game when the running game is on point. And it's been on point tonight.
You know, the interesting thing about this first half is that it's totally opposite of what Cincinnati has done this season. They've always started off hot. Not tonight. That's incomplete. Intended for Trey Spivey, who took a big shot. But, you know, Cincinnati had so far in the first half, a plus 57 scoring differential, negative 24 tonight.
Yeah, well, maybe this second half, they're coming out with some intensity. You get a chance to sandwich Spivey. Johnson shows up in that.
For defensive injury.
Along with Arnold.
Yeah, I think that's Ormani Arnold, who's down. He's the redshirt sophomore in Long Beach, California. Let's go down to the field. Here's Lauren.
Hey, talking to Coach Satterfield, he said, look, nothing went our way in the first half. That was obvious. He said, but we got to come out here. It's one play at a time. We got to slow these guys down. He said, with confidence, we're going to see what our guys are made of. On the other side of the football, Coach Kleiman said, proud of the way we responded to adversity we faced the last 3 weeks. I knew we would start fast. He said, we're making plays, and the defensive line stopping the run. He said, Avery's playing well. The O-line is blocking well. And, of course, when Avery's playing well, when he's healthy, everybody can see it. He's really good.
That's an understatement.
Newsflash.
Yeah, it's an understatement. Coach Kleiman has led Kansas State to 4 bowls, outright Big 12 title a couple of seasons ago. And here's DJ Giddens again. Takes it back, brought down at the 26, 2-yard pickup.
You know, we had a chance to talk to Matt Wells, who is the quarterback coach, assistant, co-offensive coordinator at K-State. He was the head coach at Texas Tech and Utah State, and Coach Jordan Love at Utah State. And he told us, hey, this guy Johnson, he's got a lot of talent and skill and has a chance to be a really good quarterback. Somewhat similar to Jordan Love, maybe not identical, but has the same kind of athleticism and skills.
Design run for Johnson. There's Jared Bartlett. Leads the Bearcats and tackles for loss.
We just have to remember that Avery Johnson is a young quarterback. This is what his 12th start career-wise. One last season in the bowl game, and then 11th start for him this season.
First 3 and out, too, for this offense tonight. Simon McClendon will punt things away. Jamoy Mays back deep. Oh, that takes a Bearcat bounce. We're going to down that close to midfield. Well, the Kansas State defense has certainly gotten it done here I'm talking about your DC, Joe Klanderman, his group has gotten after it.
They've shut down any rushing attack by Cincy. They've put pressure on Sorsby, the quarterback spot. And also, they've been, as advertised, aggressive, violent. And then how about Brendan Mott, the leading sacker on the team, comes up with a pick.
Here's Kiner. Kiner still running. That's a first down and more. Corey Kiner, and you talked about it. If there's anybody who has done this job in that first half, it was Corey Kiner.
Yeah, and, you know, he talked to the team this week, but even more than that, he is showing them this is how you do it. Don't worry about the words. Watch me work. And he's not taking a step back at all. He is fighting for every yard. He is running with a lot of authority.
Remember, his first 4 carries, he had no yards, but the last 5, 66 for Corey Kiner. Sorsby, under pressure, throws, incomplete. Just had to get rid of it.
One thing you know about this Kansas State defense, if something isn't going right, they're going to come after you. That is their calling card. It's like, let's now ask questions later. They believe in pressure. They believe in being aggressive. And they have a lot of guys that can get into the backfield. So if you're Cincy, you need to anticipate that. That's why screen plays have worked well against them the last couple of weeks.
Back to Kiner. This has worked well for Cincinnati, giving him the football.
Good one-on-one blocking up front by the offensive line and allowing him to pick the hole. They got a 3rd down and short. They've got a couple of chances here to pick up the first down.
2 of 8 on 3rd down is Cincinnati in this game.
They've got a matchup on the bottom. They haven't been able to get the ball to Henderson. He's matched up against the best corner, Parrish.
And they're going to go up top and incomplete. He was looking at Royer.
You know, I understand that, you know, you don't necessarily want to go after Parrish because he's their best corner, but you have to try and get the ball to your best receiver. And there's just a little bit off with these things. That's the first target for Royer, but this is the matchup. Maybe not ideal, but Henderson, you still got to try to get the ball to him.
Sorsby 0 for 4 in his last 4 throwing attempts, and that includes an interception. Sorsby again to the outside, Henderson, and he's running with Parrish. Advantage, Jacob Parrish.
Parrish has won every one of those matchups tonight. And he is not as tall as Henderson. He's about 5'10". Henderson goes 6'3", but he's physical. He gets into Henderson's body, and he says, you know what? Not tonight, my friend. Not tonight.
This is the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Kansas State trying to put an end to a 2-game losing streak, up 27-3. Cincinnati in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10. DJ Giddens gets it, cuts back. He's brought down at the 39, and again, he's semifinalist for that Doak Walker Award, which goes to the best running back in the country.
What do we have? Maybe 3-4 Big 12 runners as semifinalists?
97 yards for DJ. Johnson over the middle for Spivey, and that's incomplete. He was running down that seam, and Jordan Young right with him.
Well, and the other thing for DJ Giddens was that he's carrying an extra load tonight because Dylan Edwards hasn't been able to play tonight. You talk about the top running backs in the country, a lot of them are out of the Big 12.
Yeah, hey, Cam Scatterboot out of Arizona State, Taj Brooks from Tech, and R.J. Harvey. All these guys we saw, too, this season.
I am a Doak Walker voter, and I was pleased to be able to see all those guys in person this season.
Here's Johnson to Giddens. He's forced out of bounds by Logan Wilson.
It is It is hard to ignore, though, what's likely to be more than 2,000 yards rushing from Ashton Genty at Boise State. Plus, Boise State is likely to wind up being one of the top 4 highest-rated conferences. They might wind up getting a 4 seed.
I think with the night he had, he's probably, I think he's over 2,000 now.
Yeah.
Clennon's punt. Mays. Lets it roll into the end zone. And a touchback for Cincinnati. Hey, don't forget Monday Night Football, and it's a battle of the Harbaugh brothers. Ravens, Chargers, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. Of course, with Peyton and Eli once again on ESPN2. We talked about those Harbaugh brothers, a couple of guys you know very well.
Yeah. How proud is Dad Jim Harbaugh, who was an excellent head coach himself at Youngstown State, and defensive coordinator I played for way back in the day. That's got to be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, and listen, that Super Bowl they had against each other was entertaining, to say the least. Here's Evan Pryor. Pryor puts his head down, gets a first down, too, for Cincinnati.
He hasn't touched the ball as much as we expected tonight. That's only his 3rd carry. He hasn't caught a pass yet. But he's the guy that can give you the chunk plays. And Kansas State's defense has just not allowed the Bearcats to get anything going tonight.
It's Pryor again. Across the 35.
Remember when we saw the Bearcats against Texas Tech several weeks ago? They threw for like 450 yards. Haven't come close to that since. And they've struggled in the passing attack, and it's really hurt their offense. Haven't been able to get the ball to Xavier Henderson the last few weeks. They did it the first 4 or 5 games of the season. It's been a struggle to find some consistency, and that is a huge issue. They need big explosive plays from this offense.
Just 103 yards through the air. Here's Pryor again.
And remember, they're chasing bowl eligibility. They don't get a win tonight. What, they wind up facing TCU, I think it is, next week for, hey, you either do or you don't.
3-game losing streak for Coach Satterfield's Bearcats that they're trying to put an end to. 2 of 9 on 3rd down here tonight. 0 of 3 on 4th down. Sorsby. That should be enough for a first down. Tony Johnson with that catch.
I know you were impressed with the way the guys we talked to yesterday talked about the 2-game losing streak. No pointing fingers. Talking about, hey, starts with me.
Yeah. They played like it. Kiner checks back in for Cincinnati in the backfield. And gets the call. Down to the field. Here's Lauren.
Guys, I think it all speaks to the leadership style here. It's special. It's in the building. It starts at the top with Coach Kleiman. Austin Moore called him a servant leader, one who always takes responsibility before he even points a finger. And you can see that same leadership from these seniors as well, recognizing they've come up short, but they're not pushing the blame on anyone but themselves. They're creating that stronger culture of accountability.
Yeah, you know, Coach Kleiman said you will never ever hear him say, "This is my team, belongs to the players." Here's Kiner again over that right side. It's a first down and more. As Kiner continues to rack up the yards here. Again, he needed 97.
Yeah, I agree. The best-led programs and teams are player-led. I just wonder how much that's going to change over the next few years with all the changes. Here comes the pressure.
Sorsby throws to the outside to Henderson. That should be enough for a first down. Kiner now 10 yards away from 97 and 1,000 on the season.
Because it used to be when you came in, you had a class, and you stacked classes on classes, and you could build that culture. But now with so many transfers and the like, that changes. Henderson, though, is a guy who we just saw one-on-one, got that first down. But I wonder, can you sustain culture in this new environment going forward? You bring in 20 new transfers a year?
5 first downs in this quarter so far for Cincinnati. Sorsby will take off, and he'll start his slide close to the 20.
The Bearcats need a touchdown here. They need it not just for the notion of trying to get back in the game, but for their own confidence, their own psyche.
I'll go with a little tempo. Sorsby will keep it over their right side. Takes a hit and brought down inside the 10. Marquise Siegel with the stop.
He can take the hit at 230 pounds, 6'3". He's not afraid of contact.
15-yard pickup for him.
He's decisive here, doesn't waste any time. He sees it, attacks it, and don't be surprised if they come right back with more quarterback run here inside the 10-yard line.
Swing it out to Mays. Receiver screen, and that is blown up by Kansas State.
I know we talked about this at the beginning of the game, but this defense flies around. They've done a good job tonight on an emotional night of not going overboard. They've rallied to the football. They haven't had late hits. They've played aggressively, very physically, but kept the emotions in check.
Injury timeout. John Williams on that offensive line. We'll check him out, and we'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Hey, College Game Day. It's going to be in College Station next weekend. Oh, my gosh. That's what happened during the break. I guess he won't be kicking on the McAfee. The field goal challenge.
No do-over there. You got to at least keep your shoe on.
Yeah, really. Doesn't he look like Eli Manning?
I think even Eli kicks better than that.
Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings. They're brought to you by Goodyear.
Notre Dame, people were considering whether they belonged up there.
How about Oklahoma, what they're doing to Alabama?
SEC is in a little bit of trouble.
First red zone trip for the Bearcats, and a touchdown pass to Tony Johnson.
Tony Johnson has stepped up and is having a night. 7 catches, 46 yards and a touchdown, and a one-handed catch there.
Injury.
First item, find the football. How does he find the football with the ref in the way and then manages to stab it with one hand? He's got control of it. Good job.
Very good job. I think that's Colby McAllister, who plays safety as the injured Kansas State player on the field. He's a sophomore out of Houston. This is just the second start for him this season. He took over for the senior, Jordan Riley, because of his play, the athleticism and the intelligence he plays with being a young player.
He plays that middle safety spot. You see he comes in here, and he's going in against Kiner, who steps up and takes him on and stones him. I mean, that's pass protection. You question whether your running back can do everything, run it, catch it, and block it. That is stoning a blitzer.
Yeah, he's going to go into the tent. That man looked like he was woozy. He'll go for 2. Sorsby. Flushed, throws, incomplete to the end zone, and again to Royer.
Royer does not have a catch tonight. That amazes me.
Second leading receiver is Royer.
6'5", 255, tight end, transfer from Ohio State, excellent player, and that one he should have come up with.
In fact, he leads all Big 12 tight ends in catches with 42 of them.
Doesn't he have a chance to break a record?
Yeah, he was 3 catches away from breaking Travis Kelce's single season school record for catches by a tight end, because Kelce had 45 of them in 2012. Bearcats finally get on the board with a touchdown. Makes it 27-9. Nathan Hawks will kick things away, and Bryce Nuremberg, walk-on freshman.
I always felt as a player that the way to get momentum was a stop and a score. Now you got the score, can you get the stop?
There's Nuremberg from his own 3. Let's go down to the field. Here's Lauren.
Yeah, guys, I had a great chat with Avery's father, Mark, and right now Avery was frustrated coming into this football game. These last few weeks have been extremely frustrating. He's communicated that, but for a young quarterback, one thing he wasn't doing was pointing the finger at someone else. He feels a lot of that pressure, a lot of that responsibility, especially, you guys know, as the hometown kid, but he also knows that he still has a lot of work to do, plenty of room to grow. That's something his father and mother hope have instilled in him, and this is a process. Take responsibility, keep working hard, make yourself better, and bring those around you along with you. And I think that's really what he's exuded, and that energy's starting to come out here, especially tonight.
Yeah, here's Johnson keeping it across the 30. And meanwhile, this K-State offense have back-to-back 3 and outs. So we need to do a little something here offensively.
Well, I think the pressure on Avery Johnson is only going to increase. And this is his first year as a starter, his sophomore season. And because he is so talented, he's going to get a lot of attention. And it's going to start right away. And he's going to have people in his ear coming after him. Hey, why don't you leave Kansas State? Hey, is that the right place for you?
Been the right place here for DJ Giddens. Look at this, churning the legs for a first down.
And I know Avery Johnson wants to be here, so next year the pressure will increase because Kansas State is not going to win, most likely, the Big 12 this season. There will be more pressure on him and everyone else for Kansas State to get to the playoff next season. So I'm glad he's getting used to dealing with the pressure because it's only going to increase. 7th 100-yard rushing game for Giddens. And he's going to add to it here. And he's got 100 and more. Oh, man. Only the 4th player in K-State history with multiple 1,000-yard seasons, joining the likes of guys like Darren Sproles and Daniel Thomas and Deuce Vaughn. Getting a lot of help up front. Watch the left guard, Hadley Panzer. He does a great job of turning things inside and creating the lane for his running back, Giddens. This is an offensive line that came into the season with new starters, 4, but 5 guys who've been in this program for 4+ years. Giddens will get a rest. Joe Jackson is now checked in that backfield. Johnson will keep it. He's got over 70 yards rushing. A lot of the players we talked to this week talked about this senior night, this last game at the place they call the Bill Snyder Stadium, named after its legendary coach. It's kind of a cool name, huh? The Bill. Straight ahead, Jackson. And first down. I'm watching the godfather inside, Dante Corleone, and he's getting double and triple teams. You see the name of the stadium here.
And nice statue of Coach Snyder outside as well.
Very nice. And Corleone, the godfather, is playing hard inside. He is commanding that double team, but he's not getting a lot of help on the edges. He's a guy who's been lucky to play this season since he had blood clots during the summer.
Here's Johnson. And he just throws that one away.
Corleone did not practice in fall camp, missed the opening game, wasn't cleared until week 2, and hasn't missed a beat since he got in the lineup in week 2. He's been one of the dominant defensive linemen in the Big 12.
Cincinnati kid as well, so homegrown. On the ground is Jackson again. And he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Let's go down to the field. There's Lauren.
Yeah, Corleone, he talks about his rock and his anchor, and you know who that is. It's his mom, Rashida. He watched her work hard his whole life, growing up without a whole lot, all the sacrifices to provide for him and his siblings, and she's really been by his side every step of the way. And y'all get this, in this college football journey, she has attended every single game of his home and away. She buys her tickets ahead of the season and loads it down, gets ready to travel, and knows she's going to get to see him. And she's really just been a huge rock for him throughout his entire career.
Nothing like a mother's love. Here's Johnson on the run, and he'll throw it away. You know, Johnson started 8 of 10, nearly 100 yards passing, but since then has gone just 2 of 9 for 14 yards through the air. I think they're gonna go for it here on 4th and 13. From the 35.
Yeah, no man's land, too far for a field goal, and don't really want to punt it and see the ball go into the end zone, unless there's a pooch kick.
Here's Johnson under pressure. Throwing, he's got a man wide open, it's Spivey. Fumbles the football, it's loose, and goes out of bounds.
That might give K-State a first down. And Spivey was the last one to have control of that ball. The Bearcats had a chance to recover it, but they don't come up with it.
Bring it back to the spot of the fumble. Where that spot is,
they'll mark it where he fumbled it, not where it went out of bounds, though.
Yeah, he had the first down.
Okay. So, yeah, pick up a 14, so that is good for a first down. That's a good hit. Jarred loose. Simeon Coleman. But Wildcats retain possession of it. Here's Giddens again.
And that 4th down conversion was a bit of a backbreaker for the Bearcats. You get a stop there, you got a chance to get the ball back and maybe look at getting an early score in the 4th quarter, make it a 2-possession game. This really hurts.
Yeah, it does. 4th quarter from Manhattan when we come back.
Coach, your football team has faced a lot of adversity in the last few weeks. How have you seen them respond out here in this first 3 quarters?
Well, we're playing inspired football. It's really important that we finish this drive. We've got a 2nd and 6. Need to get points. Cincinnati's got a really good offense. We need to continue to apply pressure with our O.
Thanks so much, Coach.
You bet. Appreciate it.
Well, from the pistol. Off the edge. Diving touchdown, DJ Giddens. His 2nd of the night.
No contain on the right side for the Bearcats. And Giddens saw it, and he headed for the corner. A mistake on the back end. You always have to have contained to force the ball back inside. Doesn't happen here. A little crackback block by the wide receiver Johnson. Eliminated the contain man. And Giddens had a path to the end zone.
Extra point is good. And the Wildcats rolling it up and getting it done on the ground. 230 yards rushing. And DJ has got 2 tutties. And they're up 34-9. 34-9, our score. ESPN College Football Primetime. It is presented by Geico. And DJ Giddens, he's got 143 yards rushing. He has outrushed the entire Bears-Cat squad himself.
Really?
Let's get a studio update. That means my man, Kevin Connor.
All right, Brian, the Capital One rewarding performance. Iowa State digging into the bag of tricks late. Trevor, it's Carson Hansen to Gabe Burkle.
And they needed this because the Utah defense was stymieing everything Iowa State was doing on offense.
Next play, Hansen on the pitch, takes it in. It is a 3-point game, but Brian, Utah is driving.
I tell you, this conference is something, man.
It's crazy.
It's always a one-score game.
Yep.
And, oh, boy, the standings are just crazy if Iowa State holds on, because you'll end the night with a 4-way tie at the top. Sorsby throws. That is complete to Burkhalter.
You know, there's a scenario where you could have an 8-way tie at the top of the Big 12. I mean, look at what Baylor has done. Look how Baylor has bounced back to get into the mix.
Kudos to Coach Aranda, what he's done with that squad. And look. And these teams will be playing each other next week, so. Here's Sorsby. Over the middle, finally Royer makes a catch.
His first grab of the night leaves him 2 catches shy
of the record.
Yep.
Single season record. Travis Kelce holds it for Cincinnati.
I think if he breaks that record, Travis Kelce ought to send him something.
Sign Taylor Swift.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Here's Sorsby. And here's the Pryor trying to set up a screen.
You know, we were talking about the running backs earlier in this conference. Who are going to be the first team running backs? Scattaboo? Taj Brooks? Maybe those are your first 2? And the guys on second team would have every right to be upset about not being on first team. This conference, man. Devin Neal, Kansas. Giddens tonight.
I think he had like 4 touchdowns today, too, Neal. And here's Pryor. Brought down across midfield.
Some energy from the Bearcats offensive line, finally getting their guards out on the linebackers. Austin Moore, the fine linebacker, who leads that defense, had a tough time trying to get around a guard that time to try to make a play. Good to see that energy and effort up front from the Bearcats in this drive.
This is a 3rd and 7 from midfield. They're 3 of 10 on 3rd down. And that's too hot.
Too hard.
Too hot.
Too high, too hard. Sorsby recognized the pressure and had the right idea and the right guy. Just too much on it. He goes over to Johnson. Yeah, my bad. I mean, good quarterback, mechanics, management, understanding the pressure, understanding where to go with the ball, but got to take a little bit off.
They've yet to convert on 4th down, 0 for 3.
And do you chance the matchup between Parrish and Henderson up top again?
He's looking up top. And no good.
Parrish has won that matchup all night.
Henderson was looking for a flag to no avail.
Parrish has shown out as the cover corner tonight. He's been locked up with Henderson multiple times, and he has won every matchup. Try me? Try me again? Not tonight, baby.
Hey, the next stop on the F1 schedule is the second annual Las Vegas Grand Prix. That's tonight under the lights on the Strip, 1 a.m. Eastern. ESPN pre-race coverage begins at 11:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. Joe Jackson gets to carry.
Redshirt freshman getting a lot of work tonight because Dylan Edwards, the regular change of pace back, is out with an injury.
So we got an injured Bearcat. One of their defensive backs, Jaquan Sanks. He's a freshman out of Columbus, Georgia.
That is Dylan Edwards on the sideline in the purple hoodie. Purple, royalty, purple rain.
And they've shown it tonight. That purple rain here of Kansas State coming in on a 2-game losing streak. Again, they haven't had a 2-game losing streak in 3 years.
They picked a bad time to have it. They were sitting at 7-1, facing Houston, and then looking at a bye week after that. Got upset by Houston, and then came out of the bye week and lost to Arizona State, and that opened up the Big 12 race for everyone else. And that's why we have the chaos that we have in the Big 12. Had Kansas State handled their business against Houston, Kansas State would probably be sitting in the catbird seat.
Yeah, you're right.
It has been that kind of a college football season.
That's what they wanted here. We expand to a 12-team playoff. Here's 2nd and 5. Through the air. And a little behind Dante Cephas.
You know, Johnson started really hot tonight, but has cooled since, what, midway through the second quarter? Now his stats have become pedestrian, throwing the ball 11 of 21, and he started really hot.
Kansas State 2 of 8 on 3rd down. They'll keep it on the ground. And here's a 1st down and more. Joe Jackson.
It's the blocking of the wide receivers. Keegan Johnson, number 2, with the crackback block inside, knocks off what would be contained. He shows up, and all of a sudden you say, hey, why isn't there anybody outside to force his ball inside? Wide receivers are getting some blocks out there.
From the Bearcat 29. Receiver screen to Spivey. He's brought down at the 15. Anton Peak makes the stop.
Kansas State in position to get a win tonight and another win next week. Put them at 9 wins, you know, with a bowl game. They have a chance to get the double digits again this season.
You were talking about just a couple of weeks ago the position that K-State was in. What was it, about a month and a half ago? Cincinnati was a 5-2.
That's right. We asked Scott Satterfield about this season, and he said, yeah, the word is disappointing. He felt like They knew they needed to get off to a fast start, and they did. They were 5-2. Things were looking pretty. They knew the back end of the schedule would be a challenge, but did not expect to drop 3 in a row.
Right.
That 5-2 start put them in position to have a great season. But the 3 straight losses changed everything, and it's fair to say it's unclear what's going on with this team right now.
Jackson brought down inside the 10. Here's the Godfather Corleone with the stop.
It's fair to say it's unclear what's going on with most teams right now. When we ask coaches, hey, what do you see in the next few weeks with the end of the season, the offseason, and the portal? This is going to be Armageddon. That's the word that was used an awful lot because the portal opens, and this will be maybe the last 7-8 months of an uncapped, no revenue, season where teams can pay players whatever they want, and they expect it to be a wild, crazy transfer season.
Jackson driven back. K-State has scored now on 6 of the 9 drives they had tonight.
So both these teams are already starting to look at, hey, we got to figure out which players we know will come back next year, figure out which holes we have, and who we need to go after in the transfer portal.
I think Coach Kleiman is going to go after this first down.
Yeah.
On
this fourth down, yeah.
Let the clock run down to almost 1 and then call a timeout and talk about it. And we'll take a break as well. 34-9 our score here in the 4th.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Geico. Get more with Geico.
Senior Day here in Manhattan, Kansas for the seniors, Kansas State. For a number of these guys, especially 6-year guys who came in with Coach Kleiman, they called it redemption night. They could have walked last season, but opted to come back because they didn't win last year on senior night.
Got embarrassed. Austin Moore, Brendan Mott, 2 of the 6-year guys who made that point to us yesterday.
Here's 4th down. Roll out. That's to complete to Will Swanson, the tight end, and that's a touchdown, Kansas State.
Isn't that like the 11th touchdown catch for a Kansas State tight end?
It's a senior who gets a touchdown catch on senior night, and you're right. These tight ends for Kansas State all have multiple touchdown catches.
And we talk about this. The problem is down here in the red zone, you lose sight of the tight ends, which is why you don't want to do anything complicated. You want everybody to know who they're supposed to have, and there you see the sprint by number 46, Peak, like he forgot that was his man.
4 different Wildcats have now scored a touchdown tonight for Kansas State. Well, you talked about redemption night and that game last year on senior night. They called it Farmageddon because of the amount of snow they had here in the Little Apple on that night. And this one kind of went back and forth, but Iowa State racked up the offense.
I think that snow is beautiful, though. But Iowa State ran for 258 yards on the ground, put up 42 points, and really sort of embarrassed the Kansas State defense. And those guys who could have walked last year said that was such an awful feeling. They wanted to come back for an extra year and change that result. And change is what they've done on this senior night.
They did in a big way. From a point perspective, yards as well. They have been stingy.
You don't get a lot of do-overs in life. But those 6-year, 5th-year seniors here got a do-over, and they made good on it.
Well, let's get a studio update. We talked about Iowa State. Here's Kevin Connors.
And Brian, major drama in Salt Lake City. Cyclones leading by 3. Closing seconds. Cole Becker from 54.
It was long enough. Just wide right. Utah had a blocked punt for a touchdown, a pick 6 for a touchdown, and Iowa State still found a way to win it.
Meantime, Oklahoma, a 24-3 domination of Alabama. It's the Tide's largest loss as an AP top 10 to an unranked team, Brian.
Wow. Man. This season, the race in the Big 12, the race in the SEC, I think the Big 12 is the wildest of all the races.
Let's take a look. I mean, look at this now. Again, 4-way tie at the top of the conference with that Iowa State victory.
And remember, Arizona State was predicted to finish last.
Dillingham, what he has done with that squad, unbeaten at home. We've seen them a couple of times this year. Oh, look at that one-hand snag by Xavier Henderson.
A few days ago, Colorado looked like they were in control of getting to the Big 12 championship game. Now it's all up in the air. I guess a lot of us will be spending the week looking at tie-breaking scenarios. Just what we want, right?
Absolutely. Every Tuesday you have the review of the college football playoff rankings and the brackets. As it stands right now, look at the number of teams that took an L today in this bracket. Indiana's an interesting one.
Yeah.
What the committee will think about that loss they took to Ohio State.
First time playing a ranked team, didn't hold up well. And how about now you're looking at some SEC teams, Alabama and Ole Miss, with 3 losses now.
Here's Sorsby stepping up and brought down right at the original line of scrimmage by Ryan Davis.
You know, I'm not sure what we're going to get with the next release of the rankings. I felt all along that there would likely be one team that got in with 3 losses, but we're talking about some top 12 teams that now have 3 losses that will fall, and the SEC is far from decided right now. This is crazy. This season has been absolutely bonkers and a whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun.
It's what they wanted. Here's Kiner. And that should be enough for him to have 1,000 yards.
Good for him.
On the season. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons there from Mr. Kiner.
Well, he left nothing on the field tonight. He brought the energy. He backed up the message he gave to his teammates during the week. He said, let's bring it. Let's focus on getting to a ball game. Set aside whatever else is on your mind, personal or otherwise. Let's focus and get this team to a bowl game. Didn't make one last year. Let's just go work, play after play. And that's what he's done tonight.
Cincinnati Bearcat hadn't done that. Talking about 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons since 2018, 2019. That's how long it's been. It's just a flag on the play. More on Mr. Kiner and what he's done. Here's Lauren.
Yeah, Rod, I love this week when you talked to Kiner. You asked him about him feeling slighted. And he said, I'm a humble beast, would never say it out loud that I'm slighted. I'm just a silent worker going to punish anyone that tries to tackle me. And you saw earlier today, he said if I run around them, they felt like they had a chance. I run through them, they know they don't have a chance. And that is Kiner through and through.
He's run through some guys tonight. I think Kansas State's defense has certainly felt him. And they know that he brings it. And when it comes time to listing the top running backs in the Big 12, I think he's earned Kansas State's respect.
He's a Cincinnati kid, but started his career at LSU. Call was roughing the passer. Sorsby throwing. He's got Mays open. He makes the catch. And he's brought down at the 6, falls at the 6-yard line.
And that's a good job by Sorsby. He's missed some long throws tonight. he took a lot off of that one to make sure that Mays had a chance to make a play. And Mays made the play. And this is a good learning moment. I mean, he missed some things earlier, throwing it too hard. He just put it up there and said, hey, man, go make a play. You got a chance at it. And Mays delivered.
33 yards. First and goal. To the end zone for Johnson. Incomplete.
You want to get some rhythm going if you're the Bearcats. You still will have a shot next week to get win number 6 and get bowl eligible, but they've got to get some rhythm to this offense. The passing game has to take a step up. It's been off for 4 or 5 weeks now. So the last few minutes of this game are still important for this offense.
Sorsby again to the end zone. Got him in. Touchdown, Tony Johnson. Doesn't work once. Try again.
And again, that one helps all of that, all of the rhythm, all of the timing. Sorsby throws this one perfectly to the back pylon, gives it some air, allows his receiver to go get it. Well done.
They'll go for 2. Tony Johnson now with his second touchdown catch of the night. And dropped. Xavier Henderson can't believe it. Well, Tony Johnson made the catch. Bearcats down 41-15. Hey, take a look at next Saturday's SEC on ABC lineup. It's a rivalry weekend. You got Tennessee, Vandy at noon, Alabama, Auburn, and then we'll cap the night off with Texas and A&M. That's the lineup for you on ABC and ESPN+.
That is going to be something at College Station. And not just day of, night before, even before game day. Midnight yell. The Aggies getting the Longhorns there for midnight yell.
Yes. Sterling Lockett with the return. We got 5 minutes left in this game.
This has got to be satisfying for Kansas State, but it also makes them realize just how much they've been off the last few weeks because of the injuries at quarterback with Avery Johnson. And had they had a little bit more help from him, the last couple weeks might have been a little different as their new quarterback steps onto the field.
Yeah, Tyquan Roberson. He started at UConn last season. Came in for Johnson, matter of fact, when he got hurt against Colorado earlier this year. It's Joe Jackson again.
He played well in that Colorado game when Avery Johnson was hurt. Came in and held down the fort until Johnson got back in. That was a big win for Kansas State.
Another one of the seniors. He's out of Jersey. Devon Rice has checked into the backfield along with Jackson. This is Rice.
So where do you think the Bearcats go from here?
This one I think is really disappointing because I think the coaching staff
Charge
had the
timeout,
feeling like,
Cincinnati.
They circled the wagons.
First of the
like,
half.
you know what? I think we got them. This is the game where we turn things around.
Yeah.
And to have this kind of performance.
Yeah. The team meetings felt like, they were circling the wagon.
Yes.
And then the way Kansas State jumped on them right off the bat. You can only have so many team meetings and say enough is enough and circle the wagon so many times. I don't think you can play that card again going into next week.
Yeah.
But you just have to hope that everyone individually is focused on, we got one shot left at getting 6 wins.
Yep.
This is it.
If we want to go to a bowl game,
Yep.
it all boils down to next week for Cincinnati.
Exactly. And it's a new era, and getting your team to focus on here and now while there's all the outside noise about are you staying, are you leaving, the portals, all that. It's so much harder to get that focus week to week now.
Roberson's going to keep it. And he gets upended maybe about a yard shy. And Marquavius Sabor with the stop.
I think you're with me. I'm going to go ahead and say this season, first season of the college football playoff, unqualified success.
Yeah.
We are in late November, and we still have, 25, 30 teams that still have a shot to get in? That's amazing.
Every game means something.
Absolutely.
Every game.
We're going into Thanksgiving with people going, I'm kind of nervous about the meal this week because I got a game to worry about.
Hey, Tuesday, since we're talking about it, the special time, 8 Eastern on ESPN and the app, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys, they'll break down everything from top to bottom, the coaches' reactions, live interviews, the committee chairman, Ward Manuel will be there. The Michigan AD will also project the 12-team field. So,
well, and I was texting yesterday with my good friend, Reese Davidson, and we agree on a couple things about the committee. One, strength of schedule is important.
That's the new quarterback, Brady Lichtenberg, and he goes down, sacked. He's out of Toledo, the redshirt junior.
It's important to have the incentive to schedule tough games. That is good for players, for fans, for everyone. We need tough games. We don't want teams to say,
Holding, defense, number 25, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
let me have a cream puff schedule and get to the playoff. It shouldn't be that way. And then the second thing is, I have more trust, and Reese has more trust in the committee and the eye test now, more so than ever before, because we know they are watching more games than ever before because of technology. They can take 4-hour games and watch them in 45 minutes, condensed, so they can see a lot more games, and they get to watch coaches' tape.
There's Kiner over that left side. Another big run for Corey Kiner.
So I can tell you, because I'm using the same technology, so I know you can watch multiple games of the top 10, top 12 teams, and then you can go and watch the breakdown, the all 22 of the coaches' tape. So I'm convinced that they are seeing more football than they have in the past.
Lichtenberg goes down again, sacked, holding on to it a little bit too long.
That's my long-winded way of saying I think there's more credibility with the eye test than before.
And that comes into play when you talk about, let's say, even Indiana
right
today with that loss.
Yep.
I know the coach didn't like that question, but he was asked the question, hey, do you believe that this loss would knock you out and you're still one of the top 12 teams in the playoffs? He didn't like the question, but, there are a number of people who say, well, we didn't feel like Indiana played anyone until they faced Ohio State in the playoffs.
He should take comfort that the committee has watched them play and believes on the eye test that they are that good. So I don't expect Indiana to fall out of that top 12.
2-minute timeout, and it's K-State up big. 2 minutes left in this game. Kansas State looking for their 8th victory of the season. Third down here for the Bearcats. And that's incomplete. Intended for Henderson.
Brady Lichtenberg
taking over at quarterback. He's the redshirt junior. You know, you look at the standings here, 4-way tie. Really, Arizona State, Iowa State are the only 2 teams now who conceivably control their own destiny.
And Kansas State is going to have a say in whether Iowa State gets to the Big 12 championship game.
Yep. Lichtenberg sacked. Austin Moore, check that. Toby Olsen-Sami is the one who comes in and gets the sack, the sophomore.
Olsen-Sami, top of the screen, uses his speed and quickness. A young man who is a speed rusher, was a linebacker, moved to defensive end because of that speed off the edge. He gets a sack tonight.
5th time Cincinnati has given it up. Over on downs. 4th sack for the Wildcats.
You know, we talked about redemption tonight for those seniors at Kansas State who felt like they didn't play well against Iowa State last year. They still feel some type of way about that. They get Iowa State next week.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Talk about redemption.
Talk about a double dose of redemption. They may not have any trouble getting motivated for that Iowa State game next week.
Seventh meeting between these 2 programs, first since '96. First time as members of the Big 12. K-State looking to win the last 3 straight now. Evan Cantu with the ball. He's the ball carrier now here for the Wildcats. And Coach Kleiman's got to be feeling a lot better.
Yep, well, he's got his offense back. This is an offense that has always been based on the quarterback run game. And they got Avery Johnson back tonight at as close to 100% as he's been all season. Got his superpowers back, his elite speed, athleticism. He was able to run the way he ran the first half of the season. That gave him confidence throwing the football. And he took control of this game in the first quarter.
This should do it. And the Wildcats have now won 8 games here on the season. Put it into that 2-game losing streak. Cincinnati's now 5-6 on the season. They've lost now 4 straight. The difference? Running the football. Kansas State ran it for 281 yards. 143 of them went to DJ Giddens.
Yeah, and Giddens had to step up tonight. Didn't have his running mate, Dylan Edwards, with him, and he certainly got it done. 143 yards, 9.5 a carry, a couple of touchdowns. This was the Kansas State offense we've come to know and expect.
Avery Johnson got it done as well with a couple of touchdown passes. Our final, Kansas State 41, Cincinnati 15 for Rod Gilmore, Lauren Sisler, and Brian Custer. College football scoreboard. Kevin Connors, Trevor Maddich is next.